Hey, good people, welcome back to an episode of Fix Your Focus Live. Listen, if you're tired of restarting every Monday and then falling off by Thursday, or you have tried the lock ins, or you have tried the lock ins and you find out that you burn out or you just deplete everything before the actual end of the year comes, and you're chasing motivation rather than building self-trust, then you're in the right place. Today we're going to talk about what you need to consider before you fall in line with the great lock-in. um, Tonight's going to be a fun one, so grab your pen, your paper, your notebooks. You know we like taking notes. Grab your planners too if you need to, because you may be planning during this session. If you are joining me live, go ahead and let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. And for my replay people, go ahead and let me know in the comments below where you're tuning in from. Put replay fam in there so then I can go ahead and we can communicate in the chat in the comments. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ola Kimball. I am an execution coach and I help you get the right things done so that you make not only profitable moves, but also productive moves. And so today I really want to hone in on the latest trend, if you will, with the great lock in for 2025. And honestly, with this being September, it's around that, that refresh. Actually, this is like the third round of refresh um refreshed rhythms, because we go through one that's typically around between March and May. There's a refresh rhythm that happens, and then between I want to say June, July, there's another refresh, and then September it's like, oh man, we're in the last stretch of the end of the year, or of the year. So how can we finish the year off strong? That's why I wanted to do this, because I know with everything that's going on with the Great Lock In, before we start figuring out what we're going to do to lock in, we need to make sure we have the strategy before the systems. Listen, if there's nothing else that I'm going to tell you, it's you need a strategy before you look into systems, before you look into goals, before you look into the tools, all of that. So, we are going to do just that. Now, a little bit of background with the Great Lock In. From my understanding, it's not really anything new. It's just, it may have a new name on it, but it's the same thing. It's like, ooh, let's refresh, let's reset for whatever that time frame is. And it's typically like the 75 hard challenge. Only instead of 75 days, you're doing it for the last 120 days, 119 days, 118 days, whenever you really start, honestly. If it is October when you're watching this, you're still in time for the great locking, okay? But it's been revived, and so what I have gathered from previous, or like from other creators, and I know it's a big thing on TikTok right now, is really just like there's certain rules. Some people will say, well, I'm going to commit to getting this number of hours for sleep. I'm going to commit to doing this at the gym. I'm going to commit to, upping my hydration or making sure I drink this much water. And then these are the things that I'm going to stop doing. Now, all of this is great. This is wonderful. Definitely tune in and make sure you have that game plan, which we're also going to set here. We're going to set that up while we're here tonight. But it is very important that you are very clear about the strategy before you go into the challenge. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about building up that self trust. We are going to talk about finishing the year strong and also carrying this on past December 31st. Now, whatever day, whatever time it is that you're watching this, now is the perfect time for you to set up yourself for success for whatever that next year is, whether it's 2025 or beyond. Okay. So, again, let me know where you're tuning in from, and let's go ahead and get started with this. So, one of the things I will talk about first is the great lock in before we get into the nitty gritty and the tactics, if you will. You have to have a mindset change. We need to talk about mindset first, because with everything, you need to go into it with the right expectations. And honestly, that's what your mindset is. It's just the beliefs that you have and the expectations that you have. And a lot of times when we're setting new goals, when we have this big push, and right now it's like high motivation season, when that motivation, that willpower runs out, It is your mindset and it's also your expectations that's going to carry you through. And typically, this is the reason why a lot of people will fall off by the time October 15th comes. And so we want to avoid that. Again, we want to build out a system that is going to be sustainable past December 31st. This is an opportunity for you to build up momentum, to get that discipline muscle moving and activated before the big year or the new year comes into play. And so when we're talking about building up that momentum, we also want to build up structure. We want to make sure that we are working through what the end of the year brings, which is the holidays, whether it's holidays in terms of Christmas and Thanksgiving, or even holidays in terms of vacation and breaks that you may have come up. You need to make sure that you are prepared for when these things take place because they're going to happen. So we want to make sure that we are managing our expectations and we're doing what we need to do so that we don't fail. Like we do not fail because the reason that most lock ins fail is because we talk big and bad and bold about it first. We have no strategy behind what we're doing. We saw somebody else in their goals and we said, we're going to do that too. And then lo and behold, what happens? We fall off and then we get real quiet. We fall off, we get real quiet, but we still scrolling and looking at everybody else. So we want to make sure that that is not the case. Okay. We want to make sure that that is not the case. All right. So the first thing, well, let me go ahead and move over here. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So perfect. We in here. All right. So again, we don't want to focus on announcing everything that we're going to do for this big, bad, and bold great lock in. Because again, you can lock in and move stealthily, and then you come out on the other side, and then you can brag about everything you did. You can talk about what you did and not talk about what you're going to do. I am a big proponent of listen. It doesn't matter what I say to you all that I'm going to do. It's what you see. What you see is what you're going to judge at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what I say. What you see is what you're going to judge. You're going to look at the outward appearance first. And so we want to keep that in mind. All right. So before we lock in, the first thing that we need to listen, and they want to start yard work at 8 o'clock at night. Mm, 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 mm. But we still gonna do this live, all right? Okay, so let me get my pencil and everything set up and connected because it just disconnected on me. All right, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so again, we talked about people announce everything, they get hype, and then they crash. We don't want to crash out. We are not crashing out as we move into 2026. We are not going to rely on motivation. We are going to create the structure that's going to allow us to maintain a sustainable rhythm so that not only are we going to crush it through the end of 2025, we're going to crush it into the next year, okay? So that's what I need you to believe. I need you to declare that. I need you to go ahead and speak that over yourself, okay? Write it down if you need to. I am not building off of motivation. I am building off a sustainable rhythm, okay? I'm building off of structure, all right? So here's the first thing we want to keep in mind is people start strong. See, this is what I be talking about. I didn't ask for eraser. Okay. So when we start strong, it's great. We have all of the energy. We're hyped. We're excited. This is great to have. This is something we want to keep up, right? We want to keep up the hype. But that motivation that we feel needs something to land on. It needs a structure. You need a structure for your motivation. And so this is what we're building. And it's going to be really simple, guys. Stick with me. It's going to be real simple. Because what keeps you going is going to be self trust. If you are not trusting in yourself, you are not going to be confident, you are not going to be disciplined, and you are going to fall off. Your motivation is going to end up down here in the trash. Without that structure, without the self trust, your motivation is going to end up in the trash. So we want to keep that from happening. That's what we're here for. Now, for me, I am running my own, you know, great lock in situation. And so the way that I'm doing that is I'm focusing on three things. That's it. It's just three things that I'm focused on. So you want to start strong and you want to start clear. If you are not clear on what the vision is and what the purpose is and what the finish line that you're working towards looks like, you're going to be distracted easily. You're going to change your mind often. You are going to do everything except for what you need to be doing. So that's what we don't want. We want to make sure that you are focused on the specificity, okay? The specific three, okay? So when we're starting clear, we're going to pick three. And if you don't think three, or you think if you think three is overwhelming, go smaller, but don't go more than three. Okay? If you think three is too big, go smaller. That means you can have more intentional focus on a smaller number of things. Okay? So I'm picking three. My three, and I'm showing you all this so you can follow along. If you want to choose the same ones, you can. Just make sure it makes sense for you and where you're at. Um, I am doing this as a part time solopreneur who also works full time, a whole wife, a whole mom, and we are a homeschool family. So we have a lot going on, but at the same time, we manage according to the objectives and our lifestyle. So we make sure that our plans fit our real life. If they don't fit real life, then it's not going to make sense for us to have that plan. We're going to fail it every single time. All right. So when you pick three, my three, I am going to have, and I'll say this for mine, my three is all related to business. I have personal things that I'm doing, like I have a workout plan and all that, but I've already been doing that. And so that one is locked in already. It's part of my routine now. So now that I have that part of my rhythm, I don't have to put it as something I specifically need to focus on because it's already a part of my rhythm. I know tomorrow I'm waking up at 4:30 in the morning and I'm going to get my workout in before I go to work. Okay? So, I need to build out my audience engine. I need to build out my offer engine. And I call them engines. If it's just your audience strategy, your offer strategy, all of those things, you can do that. And then I also need to build out my capacity engine. Now, when I am talking about my capacity engine, well, actually, I'll speak to each one of these individually. So, for audience, this is how am I building my community? If I am not clear in how I'm building my community, then things are going to kind of land pretty dry. Okay. Now, for my audience, my engine is going to include live stream and then my newsletter. Those are the things that I'm focused on for the rest of the year. Live stream and newsletter. That's it. Live stream, newsletter. Live stream, newsletter. Then I have my offer. My offer is going to be revenue assets that I am going to produce or improve upon every single week. And when I'm talking about revenue assets, it can be a lead magnet, it can be um, your actual, like when I actual offer, but your next step in your offer, any of that. And if you're building out something, maybe a part of your revenue asset would be okay, I need to do a landing page, or okay, I need to make sure that like this email sequence or this sequence is set, or I need to make sure like launch emails are set. Those are all types of revenue assets. Those are all things that you want to make sure you have in play. Again, if you are focused on your business. Okay. And then next is the capacity engine. When I talk about capacity engine, it's two things, or it's three things actually. energy, attention, and time. So, real quick, when we're talking about energy, attention, and time, and I'm going to choose a different color here because I think this is important for you to understand. Make sure you, okay, I was making sure that color actually works. I did this wrong. Hold on a second. Here we go. So, when we're talking about this entire system, it's kind of like a Venn diagram on steroids, really. So, in this particular formula, when it comes to being conscious of your energy management, your attention management, and your time management, time is out here. Okay, you can't well, you can manage the time you're given, but you cannot control the time, right? So time is all out here. That's time. We know how much we have and we know what we can allot it to. But then we have attention management. With attention management, what we want to focus on, or what we what we want to keep in mind, is what are we focusing on? What are our distractions? What are we focusing on? What do we need to stop focusing on? That's what we're looking towards. And then we have energy management. What are we putting our efforts towards? Person, like people, places, things. What are we putting our efforts towards? Same thing with attention, both of them. It's who, what, where, when, all that, why, all those things. In the center here, I wonder if it's going to let me touch it. There we go. In the center here is where you're going to find productivity. When you are focused on the right things and you're putting your effort towards the right things and you're managing your time accordingly, that is when you're going to feel your most productive and effective self. That is your capacity engine. Okay? So now that we got that out the way, that is, or those are my three, my focus, my top three, if you will. Um, and so you also want to make sure that you give yourself a rule. Whatever your top three is going to be, you want to make sure that you have a rule for it, all of it. The best rule that I can recommend for you is worst day proof. Make your plan worst day proof. If you are going to lock in for the rest of 2025, you need to make sure that whatever it is you are committing to for that time frame, that it is, I just lost it. It is a worst day proof. And what that means is if you can't do it on your worst day, shrink it until you can. Now, for my high performers, for my high achievers, this is great. Let me know in the chat if you are a high performer or a high achiever. Let me know in the replay comments if you are a high performer or high achiever. But I need you to know that even if you are a high performer or high achiever, you need to tread lightly in this area, because a lot of times, because we are used to doing a lot and doing it at a high level, we'll put too much on our plate. So maybe your top three, or maybe your three for, the lock in. And what are we going to call this? Lock in three? I don't know. I don't have a name for this. This is just coming out of pure notes and brain matter at this point. But whatever we end up calling this, we'll say, sure, we'll say lock in three. Sure. So, whatever you choose for your lock in three, you want to make sure that it's something that you can handle even on the worst day. when all the distractions are hitting you, when you have low energy, when you have ran out of time because you have overcommitted to things that you wasn't supposed to commit to in the first place. Um, when something unexpected has taken place, whether that is something to do with, hey, work, the job is jobbing, family emergency, whatever the case is, we need to make sure that we can make this worst day proof. And if this thing don't stop putting this on eraser, now as you notice, I am writing notes of all this with you. So I hope this is helpful for you. Again, we're creating structure. We're creating this structure because by the time you finish everything on the lock in three, guess what? You're going to have a whole new year or a whole new quarter or a whole new 90 days, however you plan to set up yourself for success for the next level. So you're going to finish these lock in, you're going to finish these three, and then you're going to move on to the next thing. So this is a great foundation for you to rebuild your self-trust. If you find that you have made commitments and every time you make a commitment, you go against your word, you said, yes, I'm going to do this. You said, yes, I'm going to work out 6 days a week for the next 5 weeks. And after week 2, you stopped. It's okay because this time you're not going to stop. But every time that you've stopped, you have cut off a piece of that self trust. You have cut off a piece of that confidence. And so, if you don't feel confident in being able to take action on things, 9 times out of 10, that's the reason why. It's because you've said no or you've said yes and made commitments to things, but then you have not fulfilled those commitments. And while other people outside may not know that, you know that. You know, every time you said yes, but it turned out to be a no. Or every time you said no, but it turned out to be a yes. Or every time you said you wasn't going to do anything anymore, but then you got into your people pleasing ways and you decided, well, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Or no, I'm not going to do this because I don't know what they're going to think, or I don't want them to think a certain way. All of those things have ran through all of our heads. This time it's going to be different. Okay. So again, you have a clear vision of what you're going to do, what the objective is, what you want to achieve by December 31st. You're getting hype about it. You're excited. That motivation is up here. We're going to get really, really clear about the 3 things that we're going to focus on. Just 3, not 3.5 or less. You can do 2, you can do 1, whichever one it's going to be. Maybe you want to start building up your rhythm and your consistency with simply working out. Maybe it's you're wanting to build out your consistency with posting online. Maybe it's you want to build your consistency out with doing something that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Whatever it is, make it worst day proof. Now, how are we going to make it worst day proof? Listen, really simple. And is that you're going to make it extremely simple. Don't go off to the deep end. And because you're so excited, say, I'm going to post. We're going to use this as an example. I'm going to post on Instagram every single day of the week. And you have no system in place to do it. You don't even know what ideas you have. You haven't posted in a year. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to a mirror right now. I'm talking to a mirror right now. But don't do that, okay? Make it worst day proof. You're sick and you can't get out the bed. What can you do? Now, for some of these things, let me say this because I just said that. For some of the things that you put in your lock in 3, that name has to grow on me. For some of the things that you put in your lock in 3, you have to give yourself grace. If you're sick and you're like bedridden, focus on resting, focus on getting better. But if you're like, you got the sniffles and you can still walk around, you can still, you can still go downstairs and get you some orange juice, you can do something. Okay. All right. But make it worst day proof. Now, my worst day proof when it comes to the audience engine is exactly what I have here. I can do a live stream every week and a newsletter will go out every week. So let me be specific. Notice what I'm getting ready to do here. You need to be specific. Okay. So we're going to put weekly. That way, there's no question how often am I doing this? I'm doing this every week. Every Thursday night around 7:30, 7:45. We're going to be live and we're going to be talking about something. Regardless if I prepared for it or not, we're talking about something. If it's just a Q&A session, we're talking about something. Matter of fact, if you have any questions regarding this process, let me know. Put it in the chat or you can put it in the comments if you're a replay fam, okay? So put it in the chat if you have specific questions about what we're talking about here or even some of your goals, like what's in your top three, not top three, what's in your I mean, technically, they are your top three for the year, but what's in your lock in three? So yes, weekly live stream and newsletter. That's my audience engine. For my offer engine, it's going to be a weekly revenue asset, whether I'm creating it or I'm improving it. Whatever happens, I'm focused on it every week. And then for my capacity engine, it is very simple. I'm going to make sure that I am creating time frames or giving myself bare minimums that I want to hit every single week in terms of working in and on my business. So for attention management, or I'll say energy management first, because each one of these, that's so funny, it spells eat. I didn't even think of that beforehand. Okay, so for energy management, I want to make sure that I schedule at least 2 hours because I'm doing this real time, y'all. 2 hours of deep work every week. That's worst day proof for me. Um, I also want to make sure that I'm doing 45 minutes of exercise. That's going to be, let me see. Hold on one second, you guys. So, because like I said, this is real time. And so I'm checking my workout schedule because I don't know if I work out 5 days a week or I think it's 5 days. I think. Don't give me the line, y'all. Let's see here. Yep. Well, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. 5 days a week. Okay. So that's energy management. Attention management. For attention management, these are things that I'm going to focus on. This is how I'm going to maintain my focus. That deep work, that's also part of, attention management. So we're going to put this here as well. And these are real messy, but please let me know if this is helpful for you. Look, we map it out on a whiteboard first before we make it nice and cute in the planner. Okay. So we're going to do that. And then also I need to make sure that I do a planning reset every week, every Saturday or Sunday. So we're going to do a planning reset every week. Now, if you was with me with last week's call, you'll know that we talked about um, every time you make, because at that, not call, but last week's live stream, we talked about things to pay attention to before or reasons why you failed your 12-week year and how to fix them. One of the main things is going back and reviewing your work every single week, because what you'll notice is when you go back and actually monitor what you did the previous week, that builds confidence. Regardless if you hit the mark or you didn't, it's still a way of building confidence because you're monitoring your effort. When you monitor your effort, then it becomes more real, it becomes more tangible. because confidence is a receipt. You have to earn it, and you earn it every time you do the thing that you said you was going to do. So as long as you do the thing that you said you was going to do, that confidence will get built up. And as you're monitoring it, just like a 75-day challenge, when you're doing the 75-day challenge and you're monitoring it, guess what? That confidence is up here. I did 75-day challenge twice. Your confidence rise. Now, when you fall off drastically, then it's gonna go down. But it goes up. Okay. So we want to do the planning reset every week because we want to monitor our efforts. Okay. And I don't know what's going on with my nose. It's itching. Let me stop messing with this too. Okay. We're back, y'all. Okay. So we have our energy management, we have our attention management, and we talked about time management. So with the time management, that's really just making sure all of this is in play. So for that, I'll just make sure for me, everything is scheduled on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, I can't say that I can't say that I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stick with it. And I know y'all can't see that side, so let me make me smaller so you can see it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, do me a favor and put a 1 in the chat if this is helpful for you so far. Put a 1 in the chat if this is helpful for you so far. All right. Now, we talked about the plan. This is the plan, right? It's a little messy. We're going to get to it, but this is the plan. Now we need to talk about how are we going, like, what are the rules of engagement? How are we going to keep ourselves up to this? So let's draw a line here. And we're going to talk about the rules of engagement, guys. Now, before you lock in, you need to make sure that you create rules of engagement. You need to make sure that you have these things in place because this is going to be your monitoring and your controlling factors for having a successful lock in. Okay. So, let me make this. I'm sitting here messing with everything. Goodness gracious, y'all. Sorry. Okay. So, these are recommendations. Do with them what you will. Okay. Keep that in mind. Now, this first one, it may be hard for some. It may be very easy and probably like I was about to say breathtaking, but it may be easy. And you may have a huge sigh of relief, but don't sigh for too long because we're going to take care of what's missing. But no public announcement. Mine don't count. I'm doing a live stream helping you through this. But unless you are helping others doing the same, guess what? No public announcement. Move stealthily. The reason why you want to do this is because if you it goes two ways. One, you don't want to open up the door of opportunity for distractions to come in stronger than what they already do. What do I mean by that? Every time you make an intention, disruption is going to follow. That is the nature of the game. You set an intention, and everything that could happen will happen. Unless you have, and it's going to happen, but how you respond is going to depend on how you prepared for said disruptions. Why give yourself more disruptions? Why open up the door to more disruptions? Here's an example. Okay, I'm going to go public and I'm going to say, hey, remember the Instagram every day, Monday through Friday, we're going to post once and we ain't posted in a year. And we just gonna come out the gate and post once a day, every single day of the week. Well, you go out and you say that, you make a big post about it, all of those things, and then you fall off once. Guess what? A part of you is going to be a part of that disruption. because you're going to feel cringe because you made all this hush or you made all this muss and fuss about going, posting every single day and you missed a day. Now, nobody else may be paying attention, but you paying attention to what you are doing. Again, the way we build confidence is to keep our word. The one person that knows everything that we said yes to that was a no, and everything we said no to that ended up being yes is ourselves. So that's why confidence is an internal self work versus an outward thing. Don't publicly announce what you're doing for the great lock in unless you're prepared for the disruption that's going to follow. Expect disruption, but don't give it help. Okay? So that's going to be the first one. And before I get the second one, let me get something to drink. All right. So we're not going to publicly announce so the whole world will know what we're trying to do. We're not doing that. But what we will do is we're going to have our support group, support circle, support partner. We are going to have them in place. Now, this is where accountability comes into play. Although you're not announcing it to everyone, you do want to have at least one accountability partner. One person that you check in with, that you're giving permission to hold you accountable to what you said you wanted to do, what you said you was going to do. This person is going to be helping you build your confidence and your self-trust, because sometimes we need that external help. Iron sharpens iron. This is a way of sharpening each other's, this is a way of sharpening iron. Pick a trusted individual. Pick someone that you are giving permission to call you out when you're making excuses. Do not pick someone that you're going to get mad at because they're calling you out and trying to help you be better. Okay? So, you want an accountability partner. It could be someone who y'all doing it together and you're going to hold each other accountable. Now, if you're not good at holding yourself accountable, I don't recommend that you be an accountability partner. Because if you can't hold yourself accountable, I can't imagine you holding somebody else accountable. But accountability partner, okay? So let's put that in there. It can be your business bestie. Maybe you want to join a group and everybody's on the same, like they're all trying to do something, regardless if it's for the great lock in or if it's for just the end of the year sprint, of quarterly planning, whatever the case is. Find an environment where you can find an accountability partner where y'all can meet up on a weekly basis, to check in on your efforts and how close you are on target for your lock in 3. Okay? The next one is going to be rest. And let me say this while I'm writing this out. With the accountability is not something for shame. It's not something, it's designed to be a safe space. It's designed to be a area and a space for safe support. So this is why it's important that you trust the individual that you are going to give permission to hold you accountable. Because at the end of the day, when you finish, guess who you get to celebrate with? Your accountability partner. Someone you trust and someone you're giving permission to call you out on your mess. Okay? Now, or not rest, reset. Sorry, I said rest. Can y'all tell what I'm focused on? Okay. Okay, so let me change that. All right. So we want to make sure that we are resetting for the next day. Sometimes we're going to fall off. That's okay. We're managing expectations here. This is the reason why the lock-in is going to work for you this year. Is because you are going to go in already knowing that, hey, if I fall off for one day, it's okay. I can reset and keep it moving for the next day. So we want to make sure that we're opening up the doors for resetting. Don't open up the doors for public announcement. Don't be going out there telling everybody your business. That's not what we're here to do. Okay. All right. Good chat. Good talk. All right. So we are going to reset. If we fall off, it's all right. Things happen. It's a new day, new opportunity. We keep moving strong. Get back on the horse. Get back on the horse. Okay. Now, a couple of other things that I want to say is we are coming into a holiday season, whether it's the holidays or if it is for vacation. There are going like there's going to be disruption, there's going to be distractions. Those are not excuses. They're not excuses. Imagine yourself on the plane when you're on the plane for the lock-in for your destination is December 31st. That's your destination. Your departure is today. Whatever day it is that you're watching this. Today is your departure date. Your arrival date is December 31st. Those distractions, the holidays, they're not excuses, they're turbulence. You need to be able to fly through, over, under, or around the turbulence. So you have to create a plan. I can't draw a plane, y'all, so I'm not about to draw a plane. But hopefully you grabbed that analogy. Let me know if you grabbed the analogy. Okay, Miss Carolyn, I see you. Look, let me put it up here. She put a one in the chat because she said this was helpful. Let me put it down there. I need to fix this. But I see Miss Carolyn. Look here, let me. This is so funny right now, y'all. I don't normally show the comments in this area, but we're going to black it out just so we can see Miss Carolyn's. There we go. Look, we're going to put it back on there. There we go. So Miss Carolyn, she said one. She said she got it. All right. Look, we're going to put that up there. Okay. Miss Carolyn got it. All right. So listen, even on Thanksgiving, set yourself up for success. Remember when we talked about worst day proof? Remember when we said worst day proof? We was going to make it worst day proof, right? The holidays, they're not excuses, guys. They are turbulence. That is what is helping us build up that muscle of consistency, that muscle of discipline, that muscle of commitment. Okay? So if you need to put it on your calendar, the holidays that you have coming up, if you need to put it on your calendar, the vacations that you have coming up, whatever it is that you need to put on your calendar, put it on there. Like I have these pink post-it notes. They all mean something on my calendar, so I know this is turbulence to my goals. The Y'all may not be able to see them, but they're back here. Pink post-it notes for specific dates. Those are all turbulence. Whether it is a holiday, whether it is vacation, whether it is an event, whatever it is, just go ahead and put them on your calendar and plan for them. Thanksgiving's going to come and you on a workout regimen. Plan for it. You may be able to still eat, but maybe not as much. Or maybe you're going to bring a plate. You're going to still commune with the family and fellowship with friends, but you're going to have your own food on the side. Whatever it is that you need to do. The holidays are not an excuse. They are simply turbulence that you have to go through, around, over, under to get to your destination. Okay? All right. So now that we talked about, turbulence and all that good stuff, we're going to talk about a weekly rhythm. Now, this weekly rhythm is going to help you keep everything together. So, as you notice, we've kind of created a plan. Let me know if you were able to create a plan or at least you have some ideas moving, you know, getting in there. Now, I will say this while you all are letting me know whether or not, you got your plan in place. Don't wait to make your plan. This sounds all good. I'm watching it now. No, pull out your notebook right now and jot down ideas of what your lock in objectives will be. One, two, or three of them. If you've never done it before, I recommend doing one to see how it goes. Because if you put too much on your plate, then everything's going to fall off. Start small and then expand. Okay? What is going on my nose, y'all? Okay, so for our let me come back to here. We have created a shell of a plan here. Okay, Miss Carolyn says she got ideas. All right, Miss Carolyn. All right, listen, I'm here for the ideas. We want ideas. So we have a loose plan here, right? We've created our rules of engagement. Like from now until December 31st, I'm not doing any public announcements with what I'm doing because I'm in stealth mode right now. Stealth mode. I need to stay focused. I don't want to invite more disruptions and distractions. I'm on stealth mode. I have my accountability partner. We made the agreement. We're meeting every week. I don't want y'all to say y'all missed that part. Weekly. Weekly. And if I fall off, if something happens, I can reset the next day. That's my rules of engagement from now until December 31st. So now I need to establish a weekly rhythm. Your weekly rhythm is what is going to help you carry out this plan. Your weekly rhythm is what's going to help you carry out this plan. I'm going to draw another diagram for you because I like drawing. I like making things visual, and I believe that they're helpful for others. And I also do corporate training by trade. So to my adult learners, we love drawing. We love diagrams. We love seeing the notes. So I'm helping you out here. Okay. So with your weekly rhythm, I'm going to make this a little zha-zha. Drawing is not my thing. I will say that. I like to doodle, but you're not going to get Picasso out of me. While I'm sitting here doing this, you have time to be thinking about your ideas for your lock-in, okay? Okay. So, my 3, remember? I have 3 objectives that I'm focused on until December 31st. I had to think about it for a second. So, every week has 3 beats. Every week has 3 beats. Every week has 3 beats. Now, you may only have 1. Miss Carolyn said, thank you because I'm a visual learner. You're welcome. Listen, I love my visual learners. I'm a visual learner too. Look, you see what I'm doing here? I'm sitting here messing up the groove. Let me put a block right here. I want y'all to see the comments. Look, sorry we all over the place, y'all. I'll be all right. Okay, here we go. Miss Carolyn said thank you because she's a visual learner. We're going to put that right back up. Visual learners. All right. Now I said every week has 3 beats. That is because I have 3 objectives until December 31st. You may only have 2. You may only have 1. However many you choose, that's how many beats you have in your week. Okay? So this 3 can be a 2. It can be a 1. It can't be any more than 3 though. Okay? No more than 3. At least 1. No more than 3. Okay. So for me, with every week having 3 beats, I know that it's going to be an asset there's going to be outreach, and there's going to be review. And that's just labeling them simply, because my asset is that offer engine, my outreach is the audience, and the review is the capacity engine. So every week I need to hit those three. If I don't hit those three, then something is wrong. And I'm repeating this rhythm from now until December 31st. Now, what I know to be true, because this is tried and tested, I know it works. If you do the work, I promise you it works. You will be highly surprised how much you're going to be able to get done and how far you have gone and how far you have come. Speaking from December 31st to you now, future you is going to see how far you've come. Like, man, I didn't realize I can get that much done in just this short amount of time. It is possible. You'll be shocked at how much small steps stack up. You're going to be you're going to be happy. You're going to be real happy. And as you continue, because you're monitoring every week, remember, because we're monitoring every week, guess what? You're going to see vast improvement and progress. And then you're also going to see how much your confidence has grown. You're going to see, I don't know why I'm doing this. You're going to see how much your confidence has grown, and you're also going to see how strong your discipline muscle is, because it's going to become second nature for you to do the work. It's going to become second nature because and I'm going to speak from a business perspective because that's what I'm here for. That's why I'm here on YouTube. But your discipline is going to be the bridge between your intention and your income. So let's draw a little bridge. This may not look like a bridge. Let's put some of these on there. Okay. We intend to do a lot of things, but intentions don't make it to the bank. Discipline is your bridge to go from here over to here. And it may not be income that is your objective. It may not be income that is your goal. But whatever this goal is, we all start with intention. We all start with intention. Discipline is required for anything. You've got to take action. That action is going to require discipline. You want greater confidence? Maybe over here it's confidence. Discipline is required. Maybe it is fitness. Discipline is required. Maybe is a stronger faith walk. Discipline is required. With everything that we have intentions for, discipline is going to be required. If you do this plan and make it simple and clear. Confused people lack clarity. Confused people don't accomplish. Keep it simple, keep it clear, and make it worst day proof. You're going to see progression. You're going to see the progress. If you don't see the progress, come back on this channel, go into the comments and say, Ola, you lied. I don't see no progress. And we may end up having a talk because I'm going to have some questions. But yes, repeat the rhythm up until the deadline. In this case, it's December 31st. I think that's what, 15, 16 weeks? Or whenever you start. Because at the time of this recording of this live stream, at the time of this live stream, it's September 4th. Maybe you're starting September 10th. Maybe you're starting October 1st. Maybe you're starting November 1st. You can do this at any time of the year. At any time. Okay? So, real quick, I want you to come up with, we're going to recap. I want you to come up with what your lock in three is. I don't know. This lock in three is not moving for me. We're going to have to figure out some other name. But pick three. We're going to figure out what your pick three is, your pick two, or your pick one. We'll figure that out. You're going to get very clear. Just make it simple. Just make it simple. You can make it in simple statements. By December 31st, that's not how we want to put it. So let me come back a little bit. When you're stating these clearly, you don't want to state them as let me just share with you how we're going to state them. You want to keep yourself input focused, not outcome. We don't want to be outcome driven in this process because you can't control the outcome. So if it is an income goal, change it because you can't control the income goal. Because if you could, you would have already had that income goal. You would have already had that income that would be the goal. So outcomes are not our domain. It's not our domain because we don't control it. That domain, that's God's domain. God determines the outcome. We don't. No matter how hard we try, how hard we want to sit there and say we do, there's no manifesting it. Because if you could manifest it, you would have already had it. What we what we are fixing our focus on are the inputs. What can I do that I can control that is my responsibility? What am I going to do? So for me, the audience engine, I am going to host a live stream every single week until December 31st. I am going to publish a newsletter every single week until December 31st. I am going to produce a revenue asset every single week until December 31st. I am going to monitor my attention, my energy, and my time every single week until December 31st. That is how you want to phrase and position what your pick three will be, or pick two, or pick one. Whatever outcomes are not even outcomes, objectives. They're objectives, guys. Whatever objectives that you are going to have, they are going to be phrased in the input manner. So if it's 16 weeks, then I should have 16 live streams and 16 newsletters. And probably not 16 revenue assets, but at least producing or improving revenue assets and proof of it every single week. As far as capacity, I should be able to record I should have 16 reset or planner sessions, planner reset sessions every single week. I should have 16 of them that are marked with proof that I did them, meaning they're marked complete. I put notes in there. This is what I did for this week. This is my accountability partner signing off on it, or my accountability partner said XYZ for 16 weeks. I should have that proof. And when I miss the mark, because we're going into rules of engagement here, when I miss the mark, I am also going to notate that I missed the mark. I'm going to sit there and say, missed it. It's going to be an X instead of a check. Missed this meeting because, and I'm going to put a reason behind it. The reason why this is important for your monitoring and controlling processes is because you need to know why something happened so that the next time that you're doing this, you already have lessons learned so you know what to look out for. So maybe you didn't know about this particular issue before you came into play or before you started doing this process. Well, now when you pick it up again come January 1st and you do your next, 12-week, 90-day, quarterly, whatever it is that you want to do, however you plan, you now have something to measure against. Okay, last time I did this, I missed out because of the holidays. Well, what holidays are coming up that I need to mitigate, that I need to make sure I have a plan in place so then I don't miss this step, or I don't miss out, or I don't miss the mark. Okay. All right. So I want to know, or I want you, because I said don't know public announcements, right? So I can't necessarily say put it in the chat. No. Put it in the chat. No. Okay, so make sure that you are creating your three. One, two, or three. Creating your objectives, three being the max. Phrase them in input sentences, not outcomes. Make sure you have your rules of engagement. You can add to these rules of engagement as well, because you may have certain circumstances that you already know you need to watch out for. Put them in as your rules of engagement. And then establish what your weekly rhythm is going to look like. Like, I know I need to hit these three, but what else? What else? Is it job? Is it family? Um, what else? Because you want to make sure you have a plan and you have capacity for everything. Because the minute that you're outside of capacity is the minute you're going to fail. Okay. All right. So today, tomorrow, right now, it's day one of your lock in. No hype, structure. Like, we're excited, we're motivated, but we're building it off of structure because we don't want it to, we don't want our motive, we don't want everything we're working for to end up in the trash can. We got up to three things that we're going to work towards until December 31st or until that ball drop on January 1st. Now, if you want assistance in how to map this out, you're looking for a probably I'll say a document or a workbook, worksheet. You want a worksheet that's going to help you organize this maybe a little bit better than how I drew it out. You can go to bit.ly/busymap. So bit.ly/busymap. And you can get a copy of the 90-day clarity map. Now, for the clarity map, it is for 90 days, but you can do it longer. It's literally giving you the structure that you need. The principles are the same. The dates and timelines may change. The link is also in the description box. It's the baseline for what we used here. Dates just changed. Principles are the same. And once you do this, you're going to move with ease, because when you have a clear plan, you know exactly what you're doing. You're confident in the actions and decisions that you take, because now you know what a yes is and what a no looks like, because you know what your weekly rhythm is. You know what a yes looks like and what a no looks like, because you know what your pick three is. That's your focus. Okay. So let me know if this was helpful for you all. Let me know in the chat if this was helpful for you. Don't forget to grab your copy of the clarity map. That clarity map is going to help you. It's going to help you establish that structure, regardless of when. Even if you're watching this and it is not, nobody is talking about anything about a great lock in, you can still lock in. The date don't matter. It's all about you and the inputs that you want to commit to, the confidence that you want to build, and the discipline that you want to build. Again, discipline is going to be the bridge. Discipline is the bridge. Discipline is always the bridge. And your confidence, it's a receipt. Your confidence is a receipt based off of what you did. Confidence is the receipt based off of what you did. You have to earn it. If you didn't do the work, you can't say, you can't cry wolf, you can't do nothing. Okay? Thank you all for joining me. Miss Carolyn said, yes, this was very helpful. Listen, if I do this one more time, I'm sorry, Miss Carolyn. Look, let me change this. You know what? I'm going to, because I can change my view now. There we go. It's me. All right. So there we go. There we go. Thank you. But yes, I am glad that this was helpful for you all. I'm glad that we're able to, talk about getting stuff done. Getting stuff, it's easy. Keep this in mind. It's easy. Continue to say this to yourself. It's easy. This is easy. It's simple. I'm going to knock the rest of this year out. I'm going to finish this year out strong. I don't have any problems. I got a simple objective. I have clear action steps. I know what I'm focused on every single week. I have accountability. I know how to manage my expectations. If something happens and I don't make it, it's okay. I can reset the next day. It's all good. My consistency is what is important, and consistency over productivity theater, over performative productivity. I'm in stealth mode. I'm in stealth mode. All right, guys. You all have a good night, and I will see you. Listen, real quick, because I always forget to do this.